Hello, Julien.
Hello.
So, where are we?
So we are in my bakery. So
Okay.
it's called Atelier P1. It's in the 18th arrondissement, and it's like open laboratory for where we make all the sourdough bread here, and it's all open with the shop. So here
That's really
the
cool.
customer can ask question about the process, how we make the bread, and
Nice.
speak directly to the bakers.
To the bakers. Okay, that's amazing. And like, what's this? Because you said sourdough bakery. What's sourdough?
So because that's really our specialty, so
Okay.
we only make bread with sourdough, which is
Okay.
like a mix of flour and water
Okay.
that has naturally fermented with the yeast and the bacteria that
Okay.
are in the air, in the environment, and in the husk of the wheat, actually.
Okay. So it's living.
So it's alive. So that's
Amazing.
why what's really important when we make bread is like we respect the temperature.
Okay.
So the dough we prepare needs to be at 25 degrees
Okay.
Celsius, so 77 Fahrenheit. Then we have just a formula that gives the temperature of the water.
Okay.
Like
That's how you manage
basically it's like a very warm water in winter
Okay.
and very quite cold and chill water in summer.
In summer. Okay. But it has to be 25.
Yeah, and
Otherwise, it just doesn't grow. Or?
Yeah, it needs to be 25.
Okay. And why did you choose to do like a sourdough bakery only?
Like because the sourdough like really give flavor to the bread.
Okay.
And what's really interesting is that the bread is always a little bit different. It's because it's not only the temperature, it's like the humidity, also the flour. It's depend if it's really fresh.
Yeah.
So it has been milled like a few days ago, or if it's like 2 or 3 weeks. So many things like depends on the
Just change the taste of
to
the bread.
the final result. Then it make the bread much more like digestible.
Yeah.
So actually fermentation, it's kind of pre-digestion. So
Okay.
it make the work before your
Before
stomach.
your stomach does.
So
okay, yeah.
that's why the gluten it's much more digestible
Okay,
when
yeah.
it's like fermented with sourdough.
Yeah, compared to like a white baguette when you
Yeah.
end up with a bloated belly and
Because the
so that's the
fermentation.
solution.
Yeah, it's the process is very long.
Okay, yeah.
So it's not like white bread with yeast can be made in 2 hours,
Okay.
whereas sourdough bread is at least 7 hours.
Okay, yeah, way more longer.
So yeah, it's like really important when you make sourdough bread is we always say the most important ingredient is time.
Okay. Does it makes it gluten free or
No, not at all.
No,
It's
there's
not gluten free.
gluten.
It's
Yeah.
just like gluten free like doesn't contain gluten. This it contains gluten, but the gluten it's much more digestible.
like a good
so it's more
gluten.
we are more talking about the quality of the gluten in this case. So we're gonna
Like a
start
plate.
with like the flour. So this flour come from a mill called Gilles Matignon. So it's in the Seine-et-Marne in the region called the Gâtinais, which is really famous for the production of wheat
Okay.
in around Paris. So it's like 70 km from here.
amazing?
And this is like T80. So it means like all the flours come from T45, sorry, to T150.
Okay, and what is tea?
So T45 is really the most refined flour. So it's
Okay.
very white flour we use for pastry,
Okay, like
for
the one we
also
buy at
for
the
croissant. Most of the time in the supermarket it's like T45.
Okay.
So it's called sometimes pastry for
Yeah,
patisserie,
pastry, yeah.
pastry flour. And then T150 is like the whole meal flour. So it means
Okay.
it's like brown flour. It means that when you take we make flour out of the wheat,
Yeah.
you don't remove anything.
Okay.
You don't remove
You
the,
take it like pure.
the husk, yeah. So it's just pure. And then what here in France we have all the different figures, numbers in between T45 and T150.
Okay.
And this is T80. We call
Okay.
it like half
So
half
it's
whole meal.
half white, half
So it's
brown.
we keep a little part of the husk.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
which
like
contain the
the-
fibers and the bacteria we want to use.
Okay.
But we remove a little bit.
Okay. To put some white flour.
We just leave we use actually like kind of shift and separate, and I'm the white the whitest you want your flour, yeah, the smaller the hole needs to
Will
be.
be,
Yeah,
okay.
will be. So this is
We need.
pure T80. So we're gonna make like 1 kilo of dough each.
Okay.
So we need 500 grams, so half kilo
Okay.
of dough, of flour.
Okay, let's start.
Let's go.
Yes. What do we do first?
So first we're gonna mix the 4 ingredients.
Okay.
So you need a scale, you need like a bowl, and then we're gonna make like 2 loaves
Okay.
of sourdough bread.
Okay.
So on each loaf we're gonna use like 500 grams of flour,
Okay.
the T80 we talked about. 350 grams of warm water.
Okay.
as
And how
is-
do you manage the temperature? Of
So
the
actually
dough?
the sum of the temperature of the room, the temperature of the flour and the temperature of the water,
Okay.
the sum of these 3 temperatures must be equal around 70,
Okay.
75 degrees.
Okay.
But it's this temperature doesn't exist anywhere. It's just a sum of 3 temperatures.
Okay.
So we can see that in the room, it's quite chilly. It's 14 degrees.
14 degrees. Oh my god.
So and the flour is more or less equivalent. So it's like
14,
more or
yeah.
less the same because it's in
In-
the room. So it's like 28.
Okay. So we need.
Seven,
Warm water to go
70
to
minus
70.
28,
I'm really bad at
40, 42,
math. Okay.
42 degrees. And the water actually, so it's quite warm water.
Okay. Yeah. So it's supposed to be 42.
And it's around 45, I just measured.
And how do I do without that at home?
So warm water is easy. I mean, especially when it's a small amount. So you just boil water and then you
Okay.
mix cold and
Yeah, you
hot.
touch it like with your
But
finger.
you need this kind of thermometer
Yeah.
because that's very convenient. Then we use like 100 grams of the sourdough,
Okay.
which needs to be active. It
Okay.
means that it was like fed like at least like 3 hours ago.
Okay.
So
When you meet fed, it's like.
it means like you every time for 1 volume you always give it 1 volume of flour and 1 volume of warm water. You
Okay.
mix. So
and
then
you let it sit.
3 hours after it's like active. So it means
Okay.
it's bubbling.
Okay. Amazing.
And then the last ingredient is the salt.
Last but not
It-
least.
Yeah, so it needs to be fine. It can be fine or coarse salt.
Okay.
Sea salt, like.
And it's a small amount, I guess. Oh.
It's only 10 grams,
Okay.
so more or less it's
For-
around 18 or 20 grams per kilo of flour.
Okay.
Let's start.
Let's start it. Yes. With the.
Start with the flour, so half kilo.
I'm so happy to do this. I wanted to be a chef when I was a kid,
Oh, great.
and I'll be a chef when I'll be old. But
Well, if you want, you can start tomorrow.
okay, let's do that. We do an
So-
internship, like half model, half baker. Should be good.
Yeah. So then I am gonna put the 100 grams of sourdough.
Okay.
So it's more or less. This is more like 20%
Okay.
of the weight of flour.
Okay.
So this is quite like stretchy. So it's the gluten makes it like this texture.
It's amazing.
But it's like what we call liquid sourdough. It's
Okay.
exactly the same amount of flour and water.
Okay.
So we can make like what we call hard sourdough. So it's
Okay.
more like two thirds of flour and 1/3 of water.
Okay.
But then it's hard to mix when
Okay.
you're at home. Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna hand knead the bread. But
Okay.
if you want, you can use a mixer.
Yeah. Like the big thing with
Yeah,
the round.
with the hook.
Okay. Okay. So now that we put the sourdough, what do we do?
So now we're gonna put the water.
Okay.
So like warm water.
And how much of it?
So we're gonna put like 350 grams. So it's
Okay.
more or less like 70% of the weight of flour.
Okay.
So it's 350 grams.
A little more.
And the salt.
And the salt. Okay.
So it needs
Which
to
is 10 grams.
2% of the weight of flour. So it's gonna be 10 grams.
And it can be like, yeah, big salt like this, or like
Yeah,
thin salt
like
is the same.
fine or coarse salt. Yeah, it's the
Okay.
same.
And then you mix everything.
And then yeah, we mix everything, but with one hand,
Okay.
and especially 4 fingers, like a spoon,
Okay.
and we hold the bowl.
Okay. Let's
So-
do my mixture now.
Yeah.
So, let's see if I got it.
Just put the bowl
Put the
before.
bowl first,
Yeah.
then Tart. Okay. Now I do 500 grams
500 grams of this.
of flour.
Or then you can just.
Yeah, probably. There's 50 grams missing. What do we do? I like this actually. Let's try that. And with the yeast, like if I want to do it home.
Yeah,
How can I
actually
do?
you can start this from scratch, but it
Okay.
takes 4 days.
Okay.
So it's just by mixing like wholemeal flour.
Okay.
So the one we talked about, like T150, like before.
If you take
So-
smaller one, it's not gonna
No,
work.
yeah, because the natural yeast and the bacteria we want are present in the husk, the envelope
Okay.
of the grain. So that's why we use wholemeal flour
Okay.
and warm water, and then you mix it. And every 12 hours you need to add some more flour and water
Every 12 hours.
and leave it in a warm place, like close to the heating during
There we go.
summer, during
Of course,
winter.
I got my salt stain.
Yeah.
Can I do it there? So you use the hand as a spoon.
Yeah, we just need like
You're doing it way better.
4
than me.
fingers,
4 fingers.
and then we use like a spoon, just mixing the ingredients.
Okay.
And the other hand, like you need to keep one hand cleaned. If
Okay.
you need to grab something, otherwise then it's complicated.
That's true. If you have dough like this everywhere.
But of course, if you have like a mixer, you
That's
just
so
need the
easy.
hook.
Yeah.
It's easy. Sometimes you see a bakery, they say like they make the bread with their hands,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really not.
Does it change the
It
taste?
doesn't
really?
change anything. It's
Okay.
just like
Yeah, it's just more work.
storytelling, but it doesn't give any value to the bread.
Okay.
So especially because like after 10 minutes, you're gonna see it's like very tiring.
Yeah.
So imagine for 30,
With 4
40
kilos,
kilo of flour,
Yeah, that's just 1 kilo.
just break your back for nothing.
Yeah, it's a lot of sport actually.
Yeah. So you see like this, and
Yeah.
then sometimes you turn.
Okay.
It's like as if it were your mixer, just the ball
Okay.
turn. So
So I turn around.
yeah,
Okay.
turn, and then actually the dough at the beginning is like not very stretchy,
Yeah.
and it becomes very stretching by working it.
Okay.
Because we work on the gluten,
Okay.
so that's actually very important.
Okay.
This step, because we're gonna give another texture to the dough.
Okay.
So
I hope
then
I got the good one.
the dough needs to become very stretchy.
Okay.
So then during the fermentation is like chemical reaction
Yeah.
that produce like a CO2,
Okay.
and then the bubbles gonna grow in a stretchy environment.
Okay.
So then that's what
So we need to stretch it.
gonna give volume to the bread,
The bread. Okay.
and
So if you don't do that enough, it will be like
then
a
it's gonna
flat.
be quite dense.
Okay.
Dense.
That's not what we want.
Yeah. So that's why it's really important to stretch it.
And for how long have you been doing this? Because wow.
Like we do it during 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay.
We also oxygenate the dough, so by putting
it
some
open?
air. So every time when we do that, some air bubbles stay stuck inside,
Okay.
and then they try to escape. So that helps to stretch
To stretch the
the
dough.
dough. So
Okay.
sometimes it makes a little noise like psh, psh.
Oh, okay. It talks to us.
Yeah,
Says I'm ready.
yeah, good, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a sign when it's actually almost ready. Is that when you
When it sticks together.
yeah, exactly. It doesn't stick. I mean, it sticks a little bit less to the bowl.
Okay. Yeah, actually, mine sticks less than yours.
Yeah.
And for how long has it been open? Because I grew up in the neighborhood and I didn't know about it. Sadly.
Yeah, it's been 3 years.
Okay, that's
2019.
Oh yeah, just when I left, of course.
The dough, if you want to know if the dough is done, if you want to like stop kneading, you need to do a test.
Yes.
And you take like your 2 hands, the whole fingers, and just try to stretch the dough and make a very thin veil.
Like that?
Like
oh
that.
My God,
And when you
mine is
it's-
breaking.
Yeah, it's perfect. No, but it's very good. That means that the dough is ready, and we can put it in another bowl and just leave it
Okay.
prove.
To live.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we did the stretching test,
Yeah.
What do we do?
We just control the temperature of the dough.
Okay.
Because we calculate the water temperature, so that the final temperature of the dough is around 25 degrees.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
So yeah, we just check it. So it's good. So in winter, it need to be, if it's a bit higher, like 26, 27, it's good. And summer, even it's a bit like colder, it's good too.
Okay.
So that's it. So now we're gonna make a bowl of with the dough, and then we're gonna leave it proof in a very warm environment.
Okay. For how many hours?
For 3 hours.
Okay.
But every 1 hour we have some things to do. We call it the fold. So we say that we give strength to the dough by folding it.
Okay.
Like 4 times.
4 times.
Yeah, and then we put it back in the bowl.
Okay. And you do that 3 times?
Yeah.
Like every hour? Okay.
Especially in winter, it's important to put all the dough together like this. It's gonna
warms up a little bit.
Yeah. And then we're gonna just cover it.
Okay.
So that it's gonna prevent from like the a crust. Because otherwise, when the air is dry, then it's gonna make a little crust on the outside.
Okay.
So with this, you keep the humidity inside.
Okay.
And we're just gonna wait 1 hour.
Okay.
For 1 hour.
And then we will fold it.
Then we're gonna take it out of the bowl on the table, fold it, and put it back in the bowl for 1 more hour.
Okay.
Then we're gonna fold it again, and then the last hour. So until 3 hours from now, we'll be able to divide the dough.
Okay.
I mean, according to the size of the bread we want to make. So we take back the dough. So it's gonna be like we said, would be 3 hours of proving. So, and so after 1 hour, we do 1 fold.
Okay.
So it's been already 1 hour. So put little flour. We put the dough back in the table. Yeah, you can use the scraper. So now the dough, as it's starting to prove, it's getting a little bit fragile. Okay. So that's why we try not to tear it apart. Okay. So what's important is like we make a fold like to the middle. Okay. And sometimes we brush a little bit extra flour because then it's prevented from sticking. Okay. And then fold again. Then fold it like this, and then flour, then fold, and then we can take the bowl back. Okay. Put flour a little bit. This, and back to this, and we cover it again for 1 more hour. Okay. We'll do exactly the same after. In 1 hour, and then in 2 hours it will be ready for the division. Okay. Perfect. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so it's coming from the fridge, like, but it spent all night, like 4 or 5 degrees, but with 80% of humidity, so that the dough doesn't dry in surface. So you're gonna put like flour on your side, on the scale on my side. Okay. And we're gonna take back the dough cutter. Okay. If you want to do it. Okay. So we'll like this. Just like this, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Yeah. Okay. And then take it as a spade like this. Put it in the... Perfect. Almost. 50 kilos. Yeah. 50 grams of it. Then so take it on your parts. Okay. I'm gonna take mine. That's weird. Now we're gonna flip it. Okay. And we're gonna just remove a little bit the air, the big bubbles inside, and we try to make a square. A square. Okay. Yeah. So now, what we did, you just did, it's called the division. Okay. And now we're gonna do the shaping, the final shaping. Okay. Yeah, mine doesn't look like a square. But it's alright. You can just, it's kind of stretchy. So okay. Yeah, I can just stretch it like this. So now we're gonna make like a round, so kind of ball of bread. Okay. A big round loaf. Okay. So we're gonna first bring, the angle to the middle. Then here. Then you're gonna bring it to the middle.
Okay.
And again.
On top.
Like this.
Okay.
And then again.
Again. Okay. Wow.
And
so soft.
again, like this.
Okay.
And just roll it like this.
Okay. Like that.
Oh, like this. And then you take your hands, and that's actually the call. This move is called boulet. So
Okay.
that's where the word boulangerie come from.
Boulanger.
So
Okay.
it's just the fact to
roll.
and actually your hands are doing like this,
Okay. Like.
and that's giving like strength to the dough.
Okay.
As the folds we
We
did.
did.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when you do that, you have to really. The upper part is like stretching,
Okay.
so it makes the bubbles of air that are inside just move around.
Okay.
So that's why you need to
Put
like
it
this,
under. Okay. I see
like
what you
this. So you stretch. So this is like doing this.
mean. Okay.
Okay. Now we can't like work the dough endlessly. I mean, we need to see if it's like worked enough.
Okay.
And the test is like you're gonna just press, and it needs to pop up, like to come back. It means that
Okay.
yeah. So when you press, it's just coming back. It means like the dough is worked enough,
Okay.
and that it's ready to for the second proving.
Okay.
So we're gonna put this in the bread basket. Exactly.
That little one.
Then we're gonna sprinkle a little flour like this.
Okay.
Like this. And we're gonna just flip it.
Okay. Not bad.
Yeah, good. We'll see that tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning at
more
6.
detailed.
Okay, and now and just.
Yeah, flip it. And then
Hey.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
Just-
you can
then
see
we
the
just-
bubbles coming.
we just make sure it doesn't stick to the
Okay.
basket. So this is like linen fabric.
Okay.
And now what's good is we're gonna put that directly into the fridge.
Okay, without covering it, just like that.
At home, I mean, yeah, it's better to cover it
Okay.
because your fridge, it's not the same fridge that we have
Yeah.
here. Here we have quite 80% of humidity. We don't
Okay.
need to cover. It's much more convenient.
Yeah.
But at home, you just cover it with a tissue,
Okay.
like
And you put
tea,
it for
tea towel,
another
tea
hour.
cloth. I mean, there's two options. If either you want to make, we said a direct process, so we do everything the same days, or we
Mm-hmm. Okay.
do the overnight process.
Okay.
So we do like the first fermentation at room temperature,
Mm-hmm.
then we put it overnight, and so tomorrow morning the bread is ready to
Put it in
bake.
the oven.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's
depend on
practical.
how long you stay at home. If
Okay.
you want to do this process in the evening and then have your bread ready for your breakfast,
Okay.
or during the weekend if
That's
you
good.
spend the whole day at home, you don't need to use the fridge.
You can eat your bread.
But when
overnight.
it's like cold, it's I mean it's more convenient to use the fridge.
Okay.
It's not gonna prove very well here.
Okay, let's go put that in the fridge. Okay,
So
we're
let's
starting
go
in the-
to
Let's
to
go
the
to
fridge.
put that in the fridge.
Okay, so now we're gonna score the bread. So because the bread was like in the proving room, so we just it was like all night long in the proving room, and now we're gonna score it and bake it.
Okay.
Okay.
And so you score it so the. It's like, why do you score it?
So
it gets
we score it
more
because
air.
yeah, it gets exactly give the bread more volume,
Okay.
and then all the gases that are inside, it's make like a chimney.
Okay.
So it enable all the gas to go away in the
Okay.
same place. Otherwise, you're gonna have some big holes in the bread.
Okay. I see.
Then for your bread slice, it's gonna be more.
Yeah, just a hole and
Yeah.
just a crust. Okay.
So then, we use like a razor blade,
Okay.
and we need to score not too deep, but a little bit, and that's really the signature of the baker.
Okay.
So we can do just like this,
Yeah.
like a cross, and then we can do this, and then you can put
Okay.
the,
And this one's
yeah.
there.
perfect.
That's pretty satisfying, actually. And I didn't cut myself.
So now the bread is ready to go in the oven. Yeah, so that's really the last step before the baking.
Okay.
So now the oven is like 250 degrees. So
I'll let you touch the oven. I don't want to burn.
So now we are spraying like some steam inside. So the bread need to start baking in like a humid environment, so that it prevents the crust from like forming, because so the bread can take some volume.
Okay.
And it stay like quite stretching in the surface.
Okay.
So it's like two parts in the baking. The first part, the bread takes volume.
Okay.
And then once the final volume is like rich, then it's finished baking in a dry environment.
Okay.
Dry
so the
heat.
crust become crunchy.
And then the crust form, and then that's what's gonna like then you're gonna be able to store the bread.
Okay.
With quite deep.
Okay. So how long does it take to cook?
So it's like more or less 1 hour of baking per kilo of dough. Okay. So this was actually 1 kilo of dough.
Okay,
so yeah, we'll put like 55 minutes, and then we'll do a test by knocking on the bread.
Okay.
It needs to sound hollow.
Okay.
Then it means that
it's good.
baked. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, nice.
Should be good.
Let's go. So we're gonna cut the bread.
Okay.
Yeah.
But did you make the test? Like, is it hollow inside?
Yeah. Good.
I don't know. So now I know. When I cook bread. That sound of the crust on the board. Okay. Oh, it looks amazing. Oh yeah, this smells really different.
Okay, so we just cut like 2 slices of the fresh bread.
Okay.
But so actually sourdough bread is better after 4 or 5 hours. So now we're gonna test the bread with the
amazing jam.
And you remember about the scoring? We said that with the scoring it would prevent the big holes in the bread. So that's perfect for the jam,
That's
so
perfect.
that the jam doesn't
fall
go
down.
through. Yeah.
Yes.
So let's go.
This one also smiling. We made the bread happy. Cheers.
Okay, cheers.
Okay, that's amazing. That is really good. Look at that, how it stretches.
So much work, but
oh yeah, but it's worth it.
Worth it.
It's really worth it. Thank you so much for
thank
teaching
you.
me to do that.
Yeah, it was nice. You
I'll try to
did
do
a
it at
pretty
home.
nice work today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I think I'll come by it, it will be better.
Of course. Thanks for watching, and I hope you will make very nice bread at home.
And come by it at Pain if you don't make it.
Yeah. See you. Bye.
Bye-bye.